is a renowned speaker, educator, activist, author, and minister. Friends, he's one of the most popular and most requested speakers in this world right now as I speak. If you've never heard him or seen him, you're about to see why. He's a YouTube sensation with over 50 million views on YouTube. When you hear him speak, his energy pops off the screen and shakes you to want to do something great with your life. Character pride.
Raise yourself.
Character pride.
Raise yourself.
Each one.
Each one.
Chasing what?
Chasing greatness.
Greatness. Clap.
Hey.
Put your hands together for the hip hop preacher, Eric Thomas.
In the building, let me make some noise. Sophomores in the building, make some noise. And the sophomores, juniors, make some noise. Come on, seniors. It's only a couple of them. All right. I don't know what's going on in this neighborhood. It's only a couple of seniors. Come on, seniors, make some noise. I think it's the sophomores. Sophomores, make some noise. Twins, I'm going to give you one more time. Make some noise. Now, freshmen, where are you? Freshmen, make some noise. That's how sophomores. All right, man, I'm excited. Listen to me very closely. They asked me to talk about what's your why. So I'm going to give you 3 quick points, all right? 3 points. All right, this is important, guys. All right, this is important. When they asked me to speak about the why, I prayed. I spent some time on this thing, right? Meditated on this thing. It was like, okay, I think I got it. All right? Because you hear a lot of people saying, like, what's your why? You know, there are a lot of events where they talk about the why. But I don't really think they get into the importance of the why. And so I think it happened for me. And let me just say this. People ask me all the time, how did you go from being homeless? How did you go from being a high school dropout? How did you go from living in abandoned buildings, eating out of trash cans, to being where you are today? Listen to me. When I talk about where I am today, I do it with all humility because I know it has absolutely nothing to do with me. But I went from being homeless and a high school dropout to doing what I'm doing today because of the why. So I never speak on something that someone asks me to speak on unless it's a part of who I am, unless I eat it, I breathe it, I sleep it. So I'm not going to, if you give me a topic, but I don't live that topic. I'm not the essence of that topic. I don't speak on that topic. But when they ask me to talk about the why, and why the why is so important, I think I got it. So every now and then when I speak, somebody will say to me again, E.T., how did you do it? Like, I'm not interested in how much money you make. I'm not interested, I know you work for the NFL, NBA. I'm not interested in that. I know you've been all out of the country. Look, I want to know, all I want to know is how you went from this to this. Because most people who don't finish high school look, it's rare that you drop out of high school when you get a PhD. That's rare, right? So they're saying, how did you do it? How did you go from being a high school dropout to having a PhD? How did you go from living in abandoned buildings, being broke, to having a multi-million-dollar company? Like, how did you do it? Like, what happened? Right? And I tell everybody, right? There are multiple things, but I always start with the why. And I remember it like it was yesterday. Right, guys. 1995. It was 1995, 11:38 in the evening. I remember it was like yesterday. And I remember my wife and I went to the hospital, and I'm in the delivery room. And I remember at 11:38, after I had been married to my wife for 5 years, I remember we had our first child. And I remember when my son, Jalen, was born. And I remember when he came out of his mom's womb, I remember the kid looking at me Like, he looked at me and stared at me. Like, he wasn't crying at first or anything. My man just had his eyes open. He's looking at me. And I'm like, whoa, I'm looking at him. He's looking at me. like an awkward moment, right? Like, real, I don't know if you've ever been in a delivery room for those coaches that are out there. It's like, there's nothing like it. Like, you can travel the world. You can win championships. There's nothing in the world like being in the delivery room when your child is born. And so you got to understand my history. My father was a high school dropout who had 5 kids by 5 different women. My grandfather was also a high school dropout who had multiple children that were outside of his marriage. And so I too was a high school dropout. And here I am with the opportunity to break the cycle forever. Here I am with the opportunity to break the cycle forever. I have an opportunity to finish school, and I have an opportunity to be a role model to my son. Listen to me. Listen to me, guys. So when I walked out of that hospital room, it was the first time in my life. I was 25 years old. It was the first time in my life that I had a reason for living. Right? It was the first time. And I remember coming out of that hospital room saying to myself, like, yo, I gotta do it. I gotta do it. No options. I gotta do it. As much as I hate school, I gotta get my 4-year degree. As much as I hate school, as much as I don't like to read, as much as I don't like to write, as much as I hate going to the classroom,